Hey guys, we might be sounding a little bit different this episode. As you know, Chris, all of New York City is shut down. We have no access
Yeah.
to a studio. I am in my apartment. You are in your home, and we're trying to make this work.
Well, I'm in Nebraska, so we're not we haven't gone full on nutbaggery, which I still think, I mean, Ian has different views than I do, but full on nutbaggery of locking everything down. But so I know I still can get out and enjoy the, granted things are still shut down because just Nebraska, it happens in all these states, and then eventually after about 2 weeks is when it finally filters to Nebraska. So whatever's going on in New York and California, it will eventually get to Nebraska, but we're usually about 3 weeks behind. So things are, I mean, the Governor Ricketts, again, fell in line with all the rest of the governors. It's just the governors are just like sheep too, guys. Just that sheep will fall in the politician ranks too. But he's pretty much shut everything down as far as going out. But
I mean,
bro,
we kind of have to at the moment because of Trump, but
yeah, well,
anyway,
yeah. No, you're right, brother.
I want to save
Nebraska.
this. I do want to save this for the show.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
because I know we're gonna get into it, and I
A
also
little bit.
have to break your
Yeah.
balls about what you said on the
Oh
conspiracy
yeah,
bar.
dude.
But
Well, it's the way you look. It's not your. It was
I'll I'll
and
take it as
that's a
compliment. We'll get
that's a
into it.
compliment.
But
That's a compliment, dude.
before we do, we have Patch Ops on as a sponsor, and we will definitely get a little bit more in depth about them on a future podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
About them today. They are officially licensed as a partner with yourself, with KPI LLC,
Oh yeah.
and Battleline Tactical. They make the Battleline Tactical PVC morale patches and vinyl decals. The quality of their products will blow you away. So do us a favor. Go to Patch Ops on Facebook and on Instagram. Patch Ops is family owned and operated by Marine veteran Tim Hickey and his wife Michelle. Tim actually served in the same infantry unit as Tig, who you guys know from 13 Hours, of course, which is 3-7. And their company focuses on supplying the highest quality morale patches and vinyl decals on the market today at an affordable price. They have amazingly talented artists on staff that can take your custom ideas from concept to reality and will create something that will make everyone involved proud to display. Every aspect of this company makes them stand out in a crowd, so please check them out. And before I give you guys a coupon code you could use, I'll tell you, Tim sent me all the Battleline Tactical ones, which are awesome.
They are.
Audacious Andy sent me the custom Tonto Tribe one she did through them, which
Yeah.
looks incredible. And the way they package everything, dude, I feel like I can't even make a joke about this because I'm not a guy who served, but the edible crayons for the Marines out
Oh
there,
yeah.
that's funny,
Yep.
man. That's
No,
funny.
they are. They took. I'm really surprised nobody did that first. They were the first ones to do it. Just and as recent as I think it's only been 6 months ago that they started doing it because they gave them to me when I did a book signing at Fort Worth at Defender Outdoors there, and that's the first time I saw them, and that is clever, and it's good gum, it's good bubble gum, but just the cleverness behind it, especially if you've served with the Corps or you just served in the military in general, you know what Marines eat crayons. That's the joke, this running joke. I think
Yep.
for years, I probably since World War I, and it's true they do eat crayons. So
I
it
remember
fits. So
not this last SHOT Show, 2 SHOT Shows ago. We were at a restaurant, big party, and my friend Alex Hollings, former Marine, we're at some restaurant that had crayons on the table. Everybody is drinking, having a good time, and of course, he decided to actually eat crayons to show he's a true Marine.
Well, whatever floats your boat, there, you jarheads. You guys can chew on those things all you want. But the patches, no, they're second to none. They're awesome. And for them to provide, Battleline Tactical, the Battleline Tactical combative patches are standard patches, the morale patches, and then the KPI ones that I've just got, the John 1513 with the KPI logo, the Lion's Head logo. No, they're incredible. And again, it's just another blessing that good people, I do think, congregate together, and they found me out through Jeremy Mitchell, who's a tremendous individual that runs most of the KPI stuff. Most of my company's run by either my wife Tanya or Jeremy. They do a ton of it, and they found the Patch Ops found me through Jeremy, and I like, yeah, heck yeah, of course I would partner with you. And, I luckily for me, I made a no-brainer good decision with that, because the patches are awesome. And normally with books, if I have extra, I'll put them in a book. If people buy books on my website, if I have extra, I throw them in there with them. So there's a lot of people out there that have these patches that have seen the Battleline and the Battleline combative patches. And I'll continue to do that if I have extra patches. And if you come to a Battleline course and I have them, of course I hand them out. So tremendous. But go on their website and check out all the stuff they have, and you won't be disappointed if you like to collect those morale patches.
Oh yeah, and they have great stuff. A lot of politically incorrect stuff that you guys will love. And
Marines, what do you expect?
Yeah, the quality just blew me away, man. I have this great Oakley bag that I use when I go to the gym, and I was able to put those on there. So yeah, I just love them, man. And Tim, I could tell, is an awesome guy, although I'm yet to meet him yet. And they're going to sponsor another show. We just kind of wanted to do this as a preview for you guys, but they do have a promo code. So go to patchops.com, grab some of the baddest patches and decals on the planet, or have them start making your very own designs today, which is what Audacious Andy did with the Tonto Tribe patch. Yep. And that thing looks awesome. With the American flag, the colors, really cool. So use code Battleline for 15% off your next order on patchops.com. One word, Battleline. Patch Ops, morale patches designed for the hardcore. Every show, as you guys know, is sponsored by Fort Scott Munitions. Fort Scott Munitions is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass that is designed to tumble upon impact. That's their trademark. Tumbles upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the top market, ensuring they receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as well as directly online through www.fortscottmunitions.com. Love what those guys are doing, and people are, you can't keep the ammo on the shelves right now.
Yeah, it's just like toilet paper. You can't keep ammo or the toilet paper on the shelves. But God bless them, and I'm glad they're doing well. They deserve it. And with us, ranges are still open here, even the indoor ranges. Granted, the number of people you can have on the range is limited, just like the rest of the country, to 10 or less. But indoor ranges usually aren't lanes that big anyway. So, or you have that many lanes at an indoor range. So I'm going tomorrow to go shoot. I've got another 300 blackout, so I'm going to go run their ammo and shoot and enjoy my Fort Scott Munitions. And again, they're the best stuff out there, guys. And I hear it say it week in, week out. They are by far. If you're not trying them and giving them a shot, literally giving them a shot, I really think you're making a mistake. Best ammunition on the market, best ammunition in the country, and the family, the Kraft family, and also you've got the VP over there, Robbie, who they're just tremendous individuals. Yeah, they're just a great family, and it shows in their products. And I really think that's twofold. You have integrity within your company, it's going to show in your products, and that is definitely true for Scott Munitions.
100%. And I really can't blame people for stocking up when you see what they're doing in California with your states, where they are 100% going after guns right now. And you got to be careful with that. If you're a believer in the Second Amendment, out there doing their thing. And even though we have a large city audience, because I always look at the numbers, a lot of people in Chicago, New York, LA, there's probably a good amount of the audience who, no matter what is shut down, they can go outside their home if they have property and just shoot, which is the ultimate freedom.
Yeah, no, a lot of people, especially out in the Midwest, they have the ability to do that, as long as of course, you got to have your land, make sure it's zoned correctly, and if you live out of town. But most of these people are. I don't know of any that are going out in the downtown where you have 2 acres in the middle of Omaha and shooting guns. I mean, people that are going to shoot, they actually have their land and it's purchased that way. But I agree with you, brother. And I'll say this, I wrote a piece, or wrote a little snippet for a article that was written by my friend Holly McKay. And I said that about, she asked, one of the questions was, what's your response to why are people buying more ammunition? Well, gun owners have been picked on so much, and they really have. And I think the majority of it's not warranted at all. It is not.
Not in the
That
least.
there's a general distrust to the government, no matter who's in charge, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. So, and there's always the opportunity, because the blame is going to be, let's take the guns away. You're going to make it safer. 90% of America, if not more, 99% legally armed Americans don't want those rights taken away. And of course, you're going to stock up, especially in a time right now where you feel more rights are being taken from you. And it's not a paranoia. I don't see it being an hysteria. I just think most gun owners, because of the Second Amendment, because they're always getting picked on, and I do say that with some zeal there and some zest. They don't trust the government, so they're going to go out and stockpile munitions, and not that they're going to look and start World War III or start another civil war. That's not going to happen. But they do want to protect their rights, and I support. I support the Second Amendment, and I support, just like Nate Boyer said, is his support of Colin Kaepernick kneeling for the flag. Well, I support gun owners to protect themselves and protect the Second Amendment rights, and that's what keeps this country free. It really does. Because I've been in countries where they've taken guns away from people, and
doesn't go well.
It doesn't work out well at all. And the guns still find into the wrong hands, and very, very bad people, and then you've got dictators fighting terrorists, and you've got the people that are really just good people suffering out of all of it, and we don't want that here.
Couldn't agree more. So yeah, with that, use exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order at fortscottmunitions.com. Only available to listeners of the Battleline Podcast. FortScottmunitions.com. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline Podcast. Let's hit it.
On the microphones, pure and uncensored American straight talk. Never quit. You're locked and loaded with Chris Peranto and Ian Scotto. This is the Battleline Podcast.
Switch is on. Motherfucker, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
All right, well, with that, just Tonto and myself, Ian Scott. So, and you know what's funny? I feel like everyone, for the most part, is doing a show like this right now. Howard Stern is even doing his shows the same way because he doesn't want to keep people, without entertainment, without their show. And it's probably the first time in decades-long career, from the 80s to, 1980, whenever, to now, he has never not been in a professional studio, and this has changed everything. And he's so paranoid. He's talking about it. I mean, everybody knows Howard's like a germaphobe. He's having people deliver equipment to his house in a hazmat suit, and on top of that, he's waiting like 72 hours until he uses the mic he's saying.
Oh, dude, I lost you, man. Can you hear me?
Okay.
No, you're good.
I hear you now. Yeah, did you heard me talk about the hazmat
I heard
suit?
this. I heard the hazmat suit in the 72 hours on the microphone, and then you cut out because maybe it's because I just started smiling and chuckling under my breath. That's just complete ridiculous. That went straight from ridiculousness to ridiculousness. That's how far it went.
That's how Howard is, though. I mean, Howard. Over the years, I've heard him freak out if someone has like a sniffle in the studio. He freaks out over that.
Well, that's just how he chooses to live his life. I would never recommend anyone to live your life like that. But hey, whatever works for Howard. He's the shock jock. He can do whatever the hell he wants, dude. He's top on the radio. He still is always top on the radio, podcast, whatever. Howard's the man, but I would still, if I was in his studio, I still would laugh at him, and I even think I'd probably sneeze on accident, just to freak him out, and he'd probably kick me out. But I'm Tonto. What are you gonna do? Kick me out? All right, well, I'll go for a run. Nice to see you. But that's still, things have changed, and people are changing with it, and I've seen that and seen that happen. Ranger School is a perfect example of that, and I bring it back to the Ranger School and talk to people about that, because that is a really shock to your system. But if you are forced to do something and live a certain way, and you have no choice, but that's the only way you're going to be able to live it, like Ranger School, you're not going to be able to eat, you're not going to be able to sleep, and you're thinking, God, it's just, how am I going to do this? And for 2-3 months. Your body gets used to it. You accept it, and then your body and your mind just accept it. And honestly, coming towards Florida phase and swamp phase at the end of Ranger School, I was tired, I was fatigued, but I had accepted that that's how my life had been for the last 3 months. And it was just, okay, well, I only got 4 hours of sleep tonight. Oh, I only got 3 hours of sleep. I'm not going to eat. So what? Let's go get shit done. And people can go if they accept it. They just got to accept it in their heads, their minds. This is how it's going to be. We got to adjust. Let's adjust to this. Let's be flexible. And then if it's continual and it's consistent and the life is consistent, then you continue, you go with it, and you just live. It's the ones that fight it that have the hardest time. And I'm not saying don't accept to be subservient. I'm not saying to go down that road, but there are certain things that we have to do different, like you said, and you do the same thing. We can't go out anymore. Well, some of us didn't go out anyway, so it's no big deal. But the ones that did need to go out on Fridays or the happy hours, no worries there. Some people enjoy that. The ones that are okay with it now and saying, well, I can't do it, I'm going to find something else to do with my life, whether it be walking. I see tons of people out walking. It's awesome here in Omaha. I see kids out playing, people riding bikes again. When people are able to do that and fit something else in, if you do it after a couple weeks, you get used to it. And you're like, oh, this really is no big deal. All right, well, I have to change my things a little bit, but this is no big deal. My life is still going. I'm still laughing. I'm still happy. I'm running low on TP, but I'll find some more toilet paper out there. So I just realized, people change. The media shows the hysteria. That's why I told people turn it off. I think the majority of people, and we've said it on the last show we had, a person can handle anything. It's when they get into a crowd, people is where you lose your minds. You become hysterical, and you fall for the pandemonium going out there. And I think a lot of people are becoming, again, what we all are, and that's a person. And they're just, okay, well, we've got to change our lives a little bit. We got to clean our hands, which I don't know why you dirty birds around all out there wash your hands to begin with. But hey, now you got to wash your hands. I think things are really honestly going to go for the better. I really do feel that way, but maybe that's just me seeing it half full all the time.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff, and I am making some minor changes. I can tell you yesterday was actually a really nice adjustment for me, in that I do already now and again go for outdoor runs when the weather's nice, which it is getting nicer. But there's a few things I've wanted to do that I just haven't had time for. So, for example, there's a park by me, Christopher Morley Park, but they have a fitness nature trail. So it's a nature trail, and along the nature trail, they have a pull-up bar. They have bars to do dips on. They have bars to do push-ups on along this whole trail. There's like 18 different stations, basically. And I've seen it before, and I've been like, I got to go out and do this sometime. And now is finally the time that I went out and did it. While I'm there, I see a guy I run into all the time at UFC gym. And he's like, dude, this is why you just see me on the rowing machine at UFC gym. He's like, that's the end of my workout. He's like, this is my workout. I do this. I go running on the hills over here. And he's like, I've been telling people about this place for years. And suddenly hanging out here. And I got to tell you, man, I am sore in my chest, my arms. Had a great workout. It was a nice change of pace. And it actually did change my mindset a little bit. And I am more of an outdoors person. I'm not someone who always needs to be under the fluorescent lights of the gym. But sometimes you have all these great places by you that you just literally don't have the time for. And it was the type of workout where I can't even do that every day. I'll do it every other day when if the weather's nice tomorrow, I'll be back out there. But yeah, no, stuff like that is great. And of course, since it's all bars, pull-up bars and all that, bringing my Purell and yeah, just making it work, man, making things work.
Nah, dude, those are the best. Those are the best type of workouts to do because you can.
Yeah.
I love doing stuff like that. I love implementing going and running a mile and then getting down doing 20 push-ups and going and run again, then running, and I'll see a park and I'll go and I'll do 10 pull-ups. But when they have those sort of setups like that, for those out there, that is so perfect. And you're getting a full great workout outside. You're getting your cardio in, you're getting your strength in with your isometric exercises. And they do, a lot of those do, I bet yours has some great setups there where you've got the elevated sit-ups, you have a place to even do
exactly what I was doing.
Oh, yeah. No, I would highly recommend everybody to do that. And
I would too, man.
And then continue to do it after it's all over. Oh, definitely. No, that's awesome to hear. And
yeah, I mean, I'll miss the gym for a little bit, but this is great. And actually, I will even say, as a personal trainer, everybody gets so idea that it's just one of those things where once someone does it, everybody copies it. That it's just this day is chest day, this day is arm day, this day is leg day. I did that years ago, and then I realized the full body workout is the best. What I do is still full body workout. What I did yesterday at that park is a full body workout. And really, all you need are these basic movements. I know you guys all go on Instagram and see people doing all these complicated movements where it's like they're doing a box jump with, a kettlebell with a million. It's really not necessary. And I know you feel the same way with me on that.
I do. I do plyometrics. I don't do a lot of the silly. I shouldn't say silly, because if you're working out, it's not silly. The simple movements always are the best. I'll do box jumps.
I will too. I just mean where everything has to have a million things incorporated. And I honestly think the reason for that is Instagram, because how many times can we watch a guy do a pull-up, but it's a great exercise? So you have to make things as interesting as possible. When in reality, it's probably not even, you don't need to be doing all this complicated stuff.
And it may even be detrimental to your joint. People realize that your joints, when you're doing a lot of herky-jerky movements, that destroys your joints over time. But believe me, I take it from a guy whose joints are destroyed from herky-jerky movements just from his line of work that he's been in. And then also when you're playing college football, I can't remember how I partially tore my Achilles tendon, and that was from a herky-jerky movement I was doing. So, no, I completely agree. The simple movements are still the best. Running is still, to me, the best. Running is still that force multiplier, guys. That's where your mind quits before your body quits. So people that get out there and jog and run and then go to the gym, which is what I do. I'll get out there and work. I'll go for a good run first, maybe a really tough one. Then I'll hit the gym after. The problem with that is that people are trying to gain size. They won't gain size. You're going to get ripped up. You're going to get strong, but you won't put on that mass because you're getting that cardio done first. And you can talk about this too, because that's what you do. You're a trainer.
I would typically, and what you've been doing for years obviously works for you. It's the same way that, from what I've learned, people say, actually the science says, like, don't stretch before a workout, but I do, because I've gotten used to it. But I was going to say I would typically do the opposite, in that, especially if people like, I want to hit my max on this thing, you're going to wear yourself out from running. So I would typically run after, but if running before has worked for you for far longer than I've been working out, then obviously keep doing it.
No, and you're right. You're spot on. That's what it is. My running before is because that's what my priority is, and I do like to stay lean. And then I'll just push myself hard when I get downstairs. But you're right. If you want to get, you're trying to max a certain and get one rep and doing as heavy as you can, or if you are, like you said, you're trying to put on size, you're trying to put on mass. Yeah, exactly right. You don't want to run first. You do that after. That's when you want to get that. You want to lift and then hit something, a treadmill, go for a couple mile jog, or the elliptical machine or the rower after, and that'll put on mass. No, I agree with you there. It's just, what do you want? What are you looking for? And that's just what I look for. Definitely.
I agree.
And if I can find a trail, I'm out the trail.
Cardio. And a lot of it also has to do with learning to listen to your body and what your own body likes. And everybody is individual. So before I forget, I was saying I have to, Busted Shop's on. I was listening to the Conspiracy Farm interview, and first of all, I thought it was a great interview. I think Jeffrey on that show is awesome, man. I wasn't really familiar with him, and just as
he's awesome.
radio host, I admire what he does. He's kind of like my role on this show, with Pat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so anyway, the funny thing was, we were talking about our differences of opinion on the COVID-19 stuff, which is fine. But you then said, you were like, what does Ian know about the swine flu? He was like 10 years old.
He was like 10.
Happened. And I'm and I'm thinking back and I'm like, I was working at Sirius XM.
Wait, how old were you? Okay, so how old were you really?
It was 9 years ago, right? So yeah.
20, actually, 12 years, 2008, 2009.
Okay, so then it was all right. So if it was, you're right. So it was 11 years ago.
But you were still in your 20s, though, right?
I was 20. I'd be 22, but not 10. 22.
Okay, I get my facts mixed up, my dates, my ages, dates, and stuff messed up every once in a while. Come on, I thought the group for Pantera was still all alive. Messed that one up. Messed up. But in my defense, dude, you do look pretty young. Okay, and that's a compliment. So come on, I was giving you mainly a compliment to say, man, he looks great. Is he in his 20s nowadays? But no, for those that do listen to the Battleline Podcast, I think maybe we should have a contest there. Pick 5 things where Tano has messed up. We'll do our own, and I'm I'm okay with it because I know when I messed up and I'll admit it. But we should
Same
do
here.
the.
I've messed up. I've messed up plenty of stuff.
We should do go through each show and pick 5 times Chris has messed up a fact, like the Pantera thing, like Ian's age. Not something that you think is a fact because you read it in some newspaper. I mean, we're talking actual facts, not a meet. Let's do that. And then for those that pointed out, send it into the Battleline Podcast, and I'll mail you out a free book, whatever one you want.
Nice, yeah. Battleline Podcast at gmail.com. Let's do that. Battleline Podcast at gmail.com because we don't take ourselves that seriously. And I just thought it was funny. It was a good interview for sure.
But you're right. I did screw it up. No, and I did after I thought about Jesus, he's a lot older than that. And I couldn't. It was I say that the bullet goes down range, you can't take it back. I've used that analogy. That's a Tontoism. I should probably put on a shirt eventually.
That'd be cool.
But that's exactly. After the interview, brother, I'm being completely honest with you. I thought about I said he was 10. I think he was in his 20s. Shit. He's gonna give me shit about it later. I can't do nothing about it now.
And of course, it was funny. So you know what? Actually, I've been thinking about is people listening to the interview. Or people listening to the last podcast. You got to keep in mind that the podcasts are recorded a few days in advance. And I was listening back to it and thinking, wow, people are gonna feel weird about something I said. So on that podcast, I said that I agreed with Trump, who did at one point say the media has been very fair on this. And at the time, that's how I felt. In the few days that have changed, the media has been ridiculous. And I'll say not only the mainstream media, the alternative media too. The conspiracy people have been crazy, the mainstream has been crazy. And I'll give you some examples with the chloroquine stuff with Trump, how he's trying to push for the FDA to approve this. 100% in favor of that. And people are saying, oh, why does he keep bringing it up? You got to put some pressure on the FDA. They take forever to approve things, and I think that's what he's strategically trying to do because it's been proven to work. And this guy who drank fish tank cleaner is an idiot. And the media reported on it, that Trump encouraged people to just drink anything labeled chloroquine, which is not what he did.
No, and that's the media irresponsible reporting. The only way that's going to stop is for us people to get out there and stop it, or just really the best thing to, if you want to kill a fungus or anything, what do? You turn the lights off. Basically, you quit. You shut it off. You anything that can feed it, you turn it off. Well, that's what you got to do. Yeah, guys, I don't watch the news. I get a lot of my news from, or when Ian will send me something, or my wife will say something. Hey, but I don't watch it. I don't read it. So when I heard that, Ian, what was that? You told me that yesterday or 2 days ago? Was it? It was just recently you told me that.
Yeah, it was. I think it was pretty much yesterday. And I don't follow this stuff religiously either.
No, you're right. You're right.
goes up. I do go on Twitter, to update our Twitter. I've actually haven't been active on my own social media for a while, for a little bit now, just because I'm kind of taking a break. We're reporting on that. And what's interesting too is, I don't know if you heard about this. So with the success people are having of chloroquine, which hopefully gets approved by the FDA soon so that we can get back to doing what we want to do, Israel is going to be, a drug company in Israel is going to be donating like 6 million units of chloroquine to this country. And what it had me thinking, because Israel is very innovative in science, technology, medicine. What about all these celebrities and stuff who said they're boycotting all products out of Israel? Are they going to boycott the cure for COVID-19?
I'm sure they're not. If it affects their bottom, whatever helps them and affects their bottom line in a positive way, they're going to be all for. I think that's pretty much common sense, and most people see right through the Hollywoodites out there. So yeah, I doubt it. The guys, the malaria pill, which is essentially what it is. The malaria pill, if it works, and then let's use it, man. Let's get it done and get it out there. And it has been tested already for many, many years. I'm sure they're going to make, they're going to update it. And I'm not a doctor, but it's not going to be the World War II Vietnam malaria pill that they were getting then, but it's going to be something similar. So it's something that's already been out there. And to me, it seems like a no-brainer. Let's get it worked out. Let's see how it works and get it to people. We were talking about the side effects, and we are full disclosure, so that's how we are Battleline.
Yeah.
The side effects, though, and the reason we stopped taking the malaria pills, I still have those little vials. I was telling Ian, I still have the vials from '95 when they were giving us the little pills, and wow. And again, we didn't really use it. We really didn't use them at all, because there were some some of them were depression, some of them were and we call it post-traumatic stress now, but that's not what we called it back then. It was just it caused a little bit of depression. And I think that's something and I hope that's something that they're going to work out, because definitely don't want to have pills out there causing depression and more anxiety. There's people have enough anxiety as it is with not being able to find Charmin on their shelves. We don't need to add to it. But
yeah, I was just going to say, all drugs have side effects, though. Yeah. And I'm hearing worse side effects, too. I am hearing loss of hearing, loss of vision, and it's very serious side effects. But I've actually listened to several doctors and subject matter experts talk about this, and it's pretty common sense what they're saying. They're like, well, it's worse than that, dying of coronavirus. So we'll take risk.
Well, but I know I would definitely recommend, if they're getting it done where they've limited the amount of side effects, because you're right, and every medicine is going to have a side effect out there, limited to the amount of, and still take it. But brother, as good as I do, the media is going to grab it, and the side effects that aren't really there, somebody's going to do a misreporting. It's going to say they are there. They're going to add it. They're going to suggest back and forth. If your doctor recommends you take it, listen to your doctor.
Well, they can't right now, since it's not
it's not out
now. Apparently, it's not FDA approved.
Once it gets FDA approved, yeah.
Yeah, there was apparently a doctor treating people, and he treated something like 45 people with it. I was reading about this, but he can't prescribe it anymore because it's not FDA approved. We just know FDA takes forever with things. I think Trump is putting some pressure on them to get it done. And also with these major side effects, I don't think they're going to prescribe it. At least this is my guess. I don't think they're going to prescribe it to young people who could just get rid of this, sleep, get rid of it like the regular flu. This is people who could possibly die from this, So yeah, they may have some major side effects, but we're able to keep them alive.
You're the sense of reason, and I agree with that. I can't argue with you. I'd say something smart, but I got nothing smart to say, because if I was a doctor, that's what I would do as well. And for those of you out there, like me and Ian have said, if you're going to follow the media, take that all with a grain of salt. My recommendation is to turn it off. If you want to follow the coronavirus, you want to follow, I call it the hibbity-bibbity virus from what's the commercial? Liberty Mutual, my favorite commercial out there.
You were also saying the Michelob Hoba.
The Michelob Hoba virus too. That's my other favorite one for the beer reference. Of course, I'm simple like that. The Michelob Hoba virus. just look at the statistics. Watch the trends. What is it? What you and I look at the same statistics?
Yeah, we're looking at the. Do I still have it up on here? It is worldmeters.info.
Yeah, look at that.
It's still some pretty scary shit though, I'm not going to lie, especially if you live in New York, because it is, I mean, almost all the cases are New York right now. Almost all of them.
But what you can watch, and this is where you can start really seeing reading in between the lines of the news, is that you get to see the ups and downs. You can see when it's leveling off. You can see like China now. You know, what are they having? They had 7 new cases yesterday. They had 4 new cases today. It's staying right in there.
Apparently, but I have trouble believing anything coming out of China. We just know how they operate.
Well, but I have problems sometimes with the stuff we get in the States. We tend to exaggerate to make things worse. So it's a give and take. You do have to take everything with a grain of salt. Brother, I agree with you, but I
will trust the CDC before I trust China.
I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of politicians within the CDC, and imagine that, a government agency not telling the people, U.S. people, the truth. I've never heard of that before. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, I took part in a firefight in Benghazi, and it came back and saw the whole government, State Department, CIA, and everybody lie about what took place. So I have a different mindset on that because of a personal experience. But brother, me and Ian are both in agreement. Those two is that, if you want to really learn, look at the statistics. But yeah, you're right, bro. You got to take everything with a grain of salt. But still, watch statistics, watch the flow, look at the other countries. If you see something on the news, this is played. There are millions that are getting their cases are out of it, and then you look and wait a second, they had 20 cases yesterday. They're just blowing it up. It allows you to be analytical, and it allows you to really you can make your own decisions without being influenced by somebody on the talk box or the New York Times or the New York Post, or it just is a better way to go. If you have to monitor it. If you don't, then don't get outside like Ian and go run a trail and work out. Go ahead and enjoy yourself. Get outside and go shoot hoop. I went and shot baskets with my son and my daughter yesterday. And we went and played baseball today out in my front yard after I went and ran 5 miles today. This is definitely, and I think I posted it on my Facebook too, because I didn't get on Facebook all weekend. I told you I was going to do that. I recommend everybody else do that as well. But my daughter, this is how brilliant she is. I don't know. She obviously doesn't get it from me. She learned origami out of a book in like 3 hours. In 3 hours, wow. Like holy crap! But my kids, they're doing great too. And the schools now that my kids go to, they're getting their assignments online. So we have something to do together as a family. Now we're actually doing homework together as a family. So it's all beneficial. I know I went down a positive road there when we were talking about statistics, but getting back to it. Go ahead.
I feel the same way. I do agree. It's good to be positive. It's good to shut this off. I've been shutting off my phone when I go work out like I usually do. I mean, keeping my phone at home. I just don't bring it with me. And awesome. I know people will be like, "Oh, what if there's an emergency?" It's, I grew up without a phone. I'm not 20, regardless of what Chris thinks. So I did grow up at a time where you didn't have a phone and emergencies happen. So I have no problem leaving my phone at home for 5 hours if I want to, and if it's important, I'll get back to them. And I'm watching a bunch of, honestly, I'll say I'm reading David Goggins' book still, which is great.
Good book,
and I was going to say it, but I'm also watching a bunch of bullshit on Netflix that has nothing to do with this. I just watched that whole series that everybody is watching, that reality show called Love is Blind, which was very interesting.
I've never heard of that. I know it's one thing I haven't. What is it? I've never heard of that show.
So yeah, it's new. That if you want to binge watch it on Netflix, a bunch of my friends are hooked on it now too. It's these people who they are a part of this experiment of seeing if they could fall in love with someone without seeing them, and they talk to them through this pod, almost like I'm talking to you right now, but they're in separate rooms, but they could hear each other's voice. You know what I mean? Not see each other. And they decide to possibly get engaged to one of the people they've talked to. And once they take that step, they get to meet face to face, and they have, I believe, 30 days to decide if they want to get married. It's weird. It's out there.
Oh my! What in the world? What's wrong with you people? But
it is a good distraction from this stuff, though.
I completely, brother. If that's what gets you, and people want to do that, more power to them, man. But I agree. It's mindless entertainment, which we had mindless entertainment growing up all the time. I think I turned out just fine. I haven't eaten that many paint chips, so I think I'm good, man. I recommend that. Get and watch something that's just fun. That just takes your mind off it. I watch movies anyway, and I put a list of my top 5 feel good movies. I said we talked about that on a couple podcasts, so I figured I'd put it up on there. I do. Those old days of the happy ending movies where I think we got away from, there's still some good ones out there, but we really got away from the John Hughes movies. Those things were fantastic. They really are. They're good family, good fun, some vulgarity, some raunchiness, but overall great John Hughes movies. And they don't make stuff like that anymore. And so if those of you haven't watched, go binge watch John Hughes movies, and it'll be, especially you that grew up like I did in the 80s that aren't 20 like Ian. No, I'm kidding. They really bring you back to when you were in high school. Yeah,
it's funny you say that because I watched another thing on Netflix called that. I don't know if you've watched yet. It's called The Movies That Made Us. And
I haven't yet. No, I want to watch that. I heard about that. That's what I want to watch. Yeah.
So there's a few episodes. One of them being, and I just fact checked myself because I don't know movies, but one of them being a John Hughes movie, Home Alone. It talks about how that movie almost never got made. And
was that now? Tell me, was that because of Macaulay Culkin or his family?
Somewhat. I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but what I'll say is that at that time in the early 90s, all the movies did have to have a big star. And Macaulay Culkin had just done one minor film, not big film at that point. He did Uncle Buck. And they made him the star. So the studios were giving them a smaller budget for this film. And they decided to go slightly over budget. The studio was like, no, we're shutting this down. We're shutting down production. But they ended up getting a deal with another studio, which was 20th Century Fox, I believe. And the movie got made. The movie was a classic. They were expecting it to be like a small Christmas hit, and it became the movie that we all know and love today, and like a perfect Christmas movie.
Good thing the powers that be, the smart kids over there in Hollywood, didn't shut that thing down, huh? Like that is a timeless class, and I can't even imagine how much money they've still making off that movie, and just think if they would have shut it down. But it's still something that we watch at Christmas time too. I like Home Alone. I even like the second one. It's just, even though I think Macaulay Culkin was probably the worst child actor, he was. I don't think he was a very good child actor at all. But it just fit. The movies fit him, and they were good movies. They really were. They just, again, another feel good movie, Christmas time. They were fantastic. And Uncle Buck, guys, if you haven't seen Uncle Buck, that's probably the best John Candy movie ever made by far. And that is a tremendous outsider, outcast, family outcast. And the family gets stuck, and he's got to take care of kids, his nieces and nephews that he doesn't even know. And I won't spoil it either. But if for those of you that haven't seen Uncle Buck, which I doubt there's many of you that haven't, if you haven't, get it. And if you love John Candy and you love the old SNL and the old SCTV they used to have with Catherine O'Hara, watch Uncle Buck. It's fantastic.
I'm thinking of Macaulay Culkin is a guy who purposely, if you listen to interviews with him, fell off the map, and he decided, he had enough money that he's lived in all these different places. And he's just been like, I have the money to do so. I don't need a job right now, which is pretty cool. But I'm trying to find, because I listened to an interview. Yeah, there it is. So Macaulay Culkin had a podcast. I think he still does. And he had the artist David Cho on. And there was a picture that David Cho did with John Cusack. Because David Cho would just do this graffiti art and stuff. And it's Macaulay Culkin as Jesus Christ. And so they asked the show like the origin of this painting that he drew on a garage. And apparently John Cusack had some like crazy conspiracy theory about that Macaulay Culkin is Jesus Christ. And David Cho was like, this conspiracy theory sounded ridiculous to me. It made no sense, but he's like, I just drew this for him. I thought it would be a funny thing to do. You have to see it's a good painting too, like because David Cho is. If you don't know about, we're going down so many rabbit holes with here, but like if you don't know him, he became a millionaire off of Facebook. He was just doing this art that he loved, and Sean Parker from Facebook liked his art. And when Facebook was first blowing up, he had him do the art on the studios of the walls at Facebook. And he said to him, like, hey, I could pay you. It was like, I could pay you $10,000, or I could give you a share in this company called shares in this company called Facebook that I'm starting. And he was like, it sounds stupid to me, but I believe in you. I'll take the shares.
Holy
and
crap.
Overnight, the guy became a millionaire. Yeah. So he's an interesting guy. Yeah.
I had no idea. I'd have to look, because I wasn't aware of that. See, something else I learned while I'm on my own podcast. I'll have to check that out. And but that's again, that stuff you got time. People look at that, check that stuff out. Because you've got more time to do it, and it keeps your mind occupied off things that you don't need to be occupied on. Just again, like the craziness out there, and who can you believe? What can you believe? And it just keeps you grounded in daily life. To me, I really do, and I think that's how I grew up anyway. So to me, it's nothing new. Just looking at mindless stuff just to keep you entertained. I mean, that's what was on the coffee table at my house when I was growing up, was People magazine and entertainment. And I guess the internet is that magazine on the coffee table. But yeah, when I was bored, when I was at home, I'd pick up a People magazine. I didn't know half these people were, and I just read it. And yeah, I didn't buy into the Hollywood stuff, but it was just mindless pictures and it was like useless information until what Trivial Pursuit came out. Then I was talented. I could answer anything, but it just kills time, and it is just, sometimes there's stuff in there that I don't know. It'll make you smile, or at least it just occupies time, and that really we have a lot of right now. And it keeps you from going down other rabbit holes. Granted, I don't know, maybe People magazine is crazy political. Has it always been crazy political? I guess I'm not a big, I don't even know.
I have gotten so into, I guess you would say, like the alternative media of podcasts and stuff that I just don't keep up with what is in the mainstream anymore. I find stuff that I find interesting, and I kind of go down the rabbit hole of that. But I was going to say with that Love is Blind show, which is in the mainstream, so I'm contradicting myself. One of the girls on there, one of the contestants, is actually like a super smoking hot former Army chick. So I'm like, maybe we can get her on the podcast. That'd be
yeah, you don't reach out to her. See what we can get, man.
She's got like a million. She's got like 1 million Instagram followers now because of this stupid Love is Blind show on Netflix.
Okay, I will have to look. Not because she's super hot or no. I'm good. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy with my super hotness I got here. But no, you know what? Let's do it, man. Give it a shot. See what happens.
Yeah, I'm down to get anyone who I find interesting on here. That's why we've had so many different types of people on, and are not just having military people on.
And
we actually have a lot of military people for April, but.
Well, people need to hear, and I'm for those of y'all that are figuring it out, I am not the Black Rifle Coffee 9-line, that kind of. I mean, I have friends like that. I do have my military background, but that's not me. I'm not the vet bro kind of guy. Not that I'm knocking, because I have a lot of friends that are the vet bro kind of people, but that's just not me. So that's where, and Ian definitely, Ian knows this business. We want people that are different styles, and maybe even different viewpoints. We got to have that. Not that we were going to argue and ambush him, because that's not going to happen. We'll listen to you, because I want you to listen to what I have to say too. And then, whether you think it's ridiculous or not, and then call me out on the next episode. Here, remember, five call outs. I'll send you a book. You got to figure out where I messed up on.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Once again, Battleline Podcast @gmail.com. All right, jumping in here to tell you guys about Fort Scott. And yes, I know this podcast, this episode is not up to par in terms of quality of what we usually do. I kind of pride this podcast on the fact that I go into a professional recording studio, do my thing. Chris always has a great Wi-Fi connection where he is. So the problems here cutting in and out seem to be on my end. And then also you got two different people on different Wi-Fi connections, and recording on Skype is just never going to be the same. So I am looking very forward to getting back in a studio and doing our thing that we normally do. But a lot of shows are finding themselves in this same predicament when I'm listening to, as I said earlier in the show, Howard Stern this past week. Same issue, cutting in and out, but I can tell you I'd prefer to listen to him at a subpar level than not get shows at all. So I hopefully figured we're doing the same with this. With that, Fort Scott Munitions is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition that is designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as well as directly online through fortscottmunitions.com. Use the exclusive promo code BATTLELINE for 15% off your order, only available to listeners of the Battleline Podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline Podcast. This episode was all over the place, probably more so due to me getting into a bunch of topics that were on my mind, probably being a little stir-crazy of not getting out quite as much as I normally do, not getting as much human interaction. So I was excited just to talk to Chris about a plethora of different topics, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So back to that show. And I don't mention it enough, man. If you guys are enjoying these shows, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That really helps us out. Like our social media pages. All right, enough of that. Back to the show with Chris Peranto and myself, Ian Scotto. Check it out.
Oh, you know what I was going to say? I said it earlier, but we're like circling back to something. Beyond the craziness of the mainstream media, I'm hearing crazy stuff from also like the alternative media and the right-wing media. So I don't know if you saw, like Glenn Beck is saying, he's saying people his age need to get back to work. And he said on his show, it's going all over Twitter, but he's like, I'm willing to die to save this economy. And it's like, no, you're not. You know,
yeah, bro. No, I keep going because I didn't hear that.
It just sounds ridiculous, especially from him. I don't know what the deal is with him. I've personally never met Glenn Beck. Have you?
I've met him a couple times when the book first came out. You know, Dana Loesch. I was on Dana Loesch's show, and that was when she was at the Blaze. So we actually went to the Blaze Studios there in Dallas and did the interviews. But it was never with him, and it was kind of in passing. It was, hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm Chris. I'm Tano. Yeah, I'm Glenn. But it was, and it wasn't, I don't say it was disrespectful, but it was, yeah, who the hell are you sort of thing, which I could have cared less. I could care less who he was either at the time, because I really didn't follow the Blaze or any of that when I left the agency. I didn't really follow much of that at all, but I don't know personally. I've only met him a couple, and it was just, hey, and that was to do other people, Dana Loesch's show, and to do it in studio there at their place in Dallas. But I would assume after all this, and I'm assuming, that he's kind of a pompous ass. I don't know though, man.
I don't know the deal, but what I was going to say is first of all, the whole idea of like, look, you could be willing to die for a family member, for a friend. When you say like you're willing to die to save America, it just always, I think you're full of crap when you say that for the most part, unless you're a military member who's on the front lines. That's a totally different thing.
Exactly. Well, then go. My response to that is, well, then go sign your ass up.
Yeah, no, but what I was going to say about him, and the reason I was asking if you know him, is if he's saying people like him need to get back to work regardless of the COVID-19 stuff, I just get the feeling he's either a guy with a lot of pre-existing conditions, because I feel like every few months or years you would hear him say, I'm
going blind. I have this happening with me. He's like falling on stage, and he's had all these types of health issues. And it's like, I really don't know what to believe because I don't know the guy. He either has a ton of health issues or he's some type of hypochondriac. And I don't know because I don't know him.
I think you see that you look at Howard Stern, and he is a germaphobe. I think a lot of people, when they get that far up and in the spotlight, they all become sort of hypochondriacs, but become germaphobes, where you feel sickness coming all the time. But he's how old is he? He's at an age where I think I'm going to probably feel like I'm sick all the time when I'm, what is he, 70, 65? I'm terrible with numbers, as you can. I think you may want to look up, brother. I'm terrible.
He is, let's see, because now I'm actually at a computer. He's 56.
Oh shit, that's it. I'm almost 50. I'm almost.
He doesn't look good for his age. He doesn't look good.
Well, but that's the United States. That's our excess. We eat too much. We drink too much. We don't take care of ourselves. Which, again, I really do believe that this mucoloba-hoba-virus, or the hibbity-bibbity virus, I do believe this has gotten people back. Wait a second, I need to start taking better care of myself. So he could have health issues because I mean he looked like a typical male at that age that likes to drink. I'm saying he's an alcoholic, but you just
said it online. He literally looks like Colonel Sanders now.
Yeah, and that's hey, you got to watch what you eat. You just can't. You got to still take care of yourself, and I could see that because that's what leads you down that unhealthy path. That leads you down to cardiac arrest, to heart disease. You know, it does. So. Do we need to, again, with his statement, what I would say again, just go sign up. You want to save this country, go sign up.
Yeah, no, but I think he's just saying if I die of coronavirus, it's worth it. And to me, it's just a crazy thing to say.
Say that after you've had it and you've recovered.
Exactly.
Okay, then you can say, you know what, I had it because I was out there. You know, with myself, I hope I don't get it. And if I do, I do. I really feel like
you'll recover fine because you are a healthy guy.
You think, but people, that Crohn's disease, I have to take medication that suppresses my immune system. That's why with Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, that's why I was discharged from the military and I couldn't deploy overseas because the medication you have to take, the autoimmune disease that I have, my immune system works at superhuman strength when it's not medicated. The problem with that is it doesn't stop. So you basically eat yourself up. Your immune system is constantly looking for things to kill. When it's not finding anything to kill in your body, it starts killing itself. That's what Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis is. So the medication, and believe me, it is. When I was down for the count with that stuff, getting fed intravenously because I'd eat food and after I ate food, 30 seconds later, it's coming straight through me because I have no bacteria in my colon, in my lower intestines. The medication I take is a suppressive. So it suppresses my immune system, which is why I had to get discharged from the military because I couldn't deploy anymore. I couldn't go overseas where all these diseases were because I would catch them. There they say you are more likely to catch these diseases, whether it's Hep, whether it's whether it's SARS, whatever it was, whatever that is at the time, flu, just normal flu. But the contracting world didn't care. They're like, you can do whatever you want as long as your medication says you can. All right, well, I'm going to lie to you and tell you it does, even though it didn't. So that's where I kind of have this with this coronavirus. I kind of like, hey, guys, 10 years I had an immune system that really I wasn't supposed to be going to a lot of these places, and I was fine. I'm not saying that I want you to get sick, and I got sick, and I do think I even had this stuff in January. I really do believe it. I mean, I was awful.
I heard you mention that on the conspiracy farm.
Yeah, it was bad. I hadn't been that bad in a long time. But what I'm saying is that you're gonna you either push through it or you don't. You have to, and like that's cold and callous. Well, that's the truth. And again, if I get it, I get it. But if I get it and I'm out there and I fight through it, believe me, I'm going to tell you guys, you can do it. You can, you know me, and I'm going to tell you right, I got it. I'm going to fight through it. I'm going to recover, and I'm going to tell everybody out there, yes, don't make your life miserable, worried that you're going to get it, because what kind of life is that to worry about you're going to get it? Still live your life.
And I don't think the majority of people are. Even here in New York, I feel like people that I see are in pretty good spirits. Yes, you're seeing a lot of people with masks on, and I get it. But I don't feel like it's the panic that people are assuming.
I think people are calming down. So like we talked about earlier in the show, after a while, you just get used to whatever whatever lifestyle you have to be in. And, that's the beauty of this country, is that normally we can live however we want, but sometimes that doesn't go right for us either. We get in bad things. Well, Ranger School, again, is another perfect example where you are not allowed to live however you want. We're making you these set standards, and these set standards are supposed to tax your body and supposed to tax your mind. But you find that as long as you accept those parameters that you've been set on, your body will accommodate to it. It will be okay. You are more susceptible to injury because your body's weaker, but you just, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing, and it's the same thing nowadays. Even if I feel bad or I have an injury, it doesn't stay long because I just accept I have it and I just continue to drive. My body and my mind just gets used to that. And I think this is great for people. People are finding out that, you know what, I can handle this. All right, it felt like it was going to be the end of the world, but it isn't. We just got to do things a little differently, and that just shows human spirit. That just shows, again, a person can handle things. It's when people come together, and that's what the media does. People come together. That's when it gets crazy and people panic. And I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad. But everybody has that ability to do that in themselves. So I'm glad to hear that, and it's definitely here outside in the neighborhoods in Nebraska. The governor and the politicians are still, the world's going to end. But most people out here, like I said, they're out there just doing stuff that we used to do growing up. We're playing outside, and enjoying family time.
So I'll get back into like us just kind of going back and forth about, just the atmosphere there. But I did want to say one other person, and it's someone we've had on our show that I don't mind saying I don't like something they're doing. So, I heard Glenn Beck say that. And then I don't know if you've been seeing what Alex Jones is doing, but Alex is saying he's now like going to sue the president. And he's saying that we know this is a weaponized Chinese attack on us, and we don't know anything. It's very possible. But I would have thought Alex, to be honest, would have learned his lesson after the Sandy Hook stuff. You can't definitively say you know something until you do.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard because I do consider Alex a friend, and I would say, man, don't do that. You're not going to find us doing that because you don't know. Is it a possibility, dude? Nowadays, with politicians and how power hungry people are, whether it's our country or whether it's China or whether it's Russia, it's all a possibility. And with the ability the advances in chemical warfare, biological warfare, yes, the capabilities are there. But to say that causes panic. Again, what are you doing? You're stirring the pot. Your people need to actually be coming together and getting stronger, and that just is going to create more dissension. If it is, and that is actually going on, are exactly right. We got to be 100% sure till we start pointing fingers. Oh, this is your fault. This is your fault. This is your fault. Because guess what? We're not out of the woods yet. Once we're out of the woods, and this is no longer considered a pandemic or whatever the hell they call it. All right, I don't say point fingers, but now let's find out why this took place. What we do. We're AR in this now. We're after action review in this. How did this take place so it doesn't happen again? And if we find out that it was a weaponized biological weapon, a weaponized biological weapon by the Chinese, then damn right, definitely we need to take the necessary steps to punish them, but also make sure it doesn't happen again. But at this moment in time, no. And
yeah, I want to find out as well what I think the problem is. And once again, this is not me. If anybody thinks like talking crap about someone who's been on the show, if Chris said something, on another podcast, something that I disagreed with, I'd have no problem saying it. And I know Chris would have no problem saying it about me. So, because that's how we are. It's straight shooting. It's not like this is the agenda and we're sticking to it. But when Alex was on the show with us, he said, I have no problem. My show is asking questions and I'll give other people. What I'm not in favor of is when you go out there and say, we are 100%, we have proof of this, and you don't have that proof yet. You cannot do that. That's just not being responsible.
No, I agree. You got to provide that proof, and that again is where we're at now. It's if you're a reporter out there, you have to be responsible, and if you're going to provide that proof, you do it then. You don't wait to the commercial break like the TV shows where you're waiting to the end because I want to see what happened, and there's a commercial. You got to wait the full time to the end. No, here's why. Here's our proof right here. And if that's the case, well, yeah, then necessary steps need to be taken to China. But it does us no good. It does no good to anybody right now just by saying. And I said I consider Alex a friend. I will disagree with him definitely on this. I didn't. Again, this is the first time I've heard about it. Again, this is the beauty of not watching the news. But I have a podcast, so I have to be somewhat informed, which is why I have the best guy with me, with Ian, who is completely informed on everything, which is fantastic.
Sort of. I mean, but I watched it myself just out of curiosity. I'm just like, what is Alex saying about this?
And no, and that's not a knock on you, dude. That is. I appreciate that. It allows me so I don't have to, and I don't get angry. I'll get completely angry and. I'll be in a bad spot. I don't want to be like that. But this thing, again, is that a possibility? Of course it's a possibility. It's a possibility that our own government did it and it got out of hand too. I'm not saying we did. Don't report it. Battleline Tactical Chris Perron says that U.S. just set a biological.
Yeah, no, because I do. Because we know. Here's the thing. And people sometimes think I'm anti-Trump or something, which I'm not. I am actually totally in favor of Trump saying this is a Chinese virus. And when the media asked him about why he keeps doing that, he said, well, China originally are the ones who blamed it on the U.S. Army. And he's like, I'm going to push back on that. We're not going to have that because we know the U.S. Army is not who created this virus.
Yeah, no, and that's the stupidest. That political correctness, shut the hell up.
And I think that's China trying to cover their ass.
Well, it's too late for that now. Hey, China. That bullet's down range. You can't take it back now. You better just own up to it. You started this damn virus, whether it was somebody ate a bat and took a shit somewhere or whatever you did, but it's your fault now. But with the Alex Jones things or anybody else doing this kind of, it does us no good. It does no good, but create negativity and create some dissension, and it doesn't need to be. If facts come back when all this is over, you got to finish this job first, though. Get this thing eradicated, get people back out the door and working, get people back to their normal lives. Once that's done, then you start going in, all right, what the hell happened? Was this a purposefully virus that was used and it got out of control by China? Or was it just hey, Brent, viruses are out there. Yeah, guy in viruses. Hey, viruses are always ever changing and they mutate in people, and we'll see another one again. It may not be 15, 20 years, but another one will come about because guess what, guys? That's what viruses do. And there's no way to stop them. That's just what they do.
I will say, and this might be where, we weren't 100% in a line. Last episode, I actually think the lockdown that they're doing is necessary. I agree with what they're doing. However, just me as being a libertarian guy who does not like government overreach, my worry is that this now sets the precedent that when we have something less serious than this, they're going to say we were able to do it with coronavirus. Yeah. We could keep people locked inside their home. This should not be something that the government does unless it is a last minute, thing to do that we have to do because it is destroying our economy, and we can't allow this to happen every year that there's a virus.
And brother, I completely agree with you. That's where our disagreement was in the beginning. It wasn't that I didn't think that there wasn't a virus out there. Of course there was. I knew there was. I harp on that swine flu all the time because it really affected me and my family because it was affecting kids, and that was worrisome to me because I was never home. So I was always I understand the severity and the worry that a virus like this can do because I've been through it before with two small kids, and that was the age group that was susceptible to it. But that is where I was coming at you where I didn't agree with you on things, where I believe that we had the lockdown because of what we're talking about now. It gives the easier access next time, if there is a next time or not, that the government can easily come in and take control. And for all you out there, I've worked and lived in these countries where the government's in complete control. and it's not a place you want to raise or live in. You don't. It's scary as hell. And the Taliban ain't no joke, and neither is ISIS, and neither is Al Qaeda. And the countries where the government has complete control and the dictators there, the reason they are dictators is because if they aren't, and you got that you have to deal with, if you don't have that huge government overreach control, the vacuum of power comes in, and that's when you have the terrorists come in and take over. And we don't want either of that. And that's where I was and that's where I think a lot of gun owners were going back to the Fort Scott munitions. That's why a lot of gun owners were buying ammo, because a lot of us veterans that have been downrange have seen and experienced that. And we know what government overreach can do. Too much government control is not good at all. It does nothing but it causes war. It causes war, and it causes civil wars. And that's not what we want at all. But brother, that being said too, I do fully understand where you're coming from because of the area you live in. Sure. You know, you are in a confined, and when I say confined space, you just have a lot of people living in a small area, and even just
New
with
York
the regular,
City, to be fair,
New York City,
as I feel like I point out every show, I am on Long Island. It's not the same.
But Long Island still is not Omaha, Nebraska.
No. But I've been in Nebraska, but Omaha is still a city. So
don't give the mayor or Governor Ricketts too much. They already think they're big enough. They think they're Chicago already. Don't do that, man. We are.
Let's see. What is, because I'm going to look this up out of curiosity. What's the population of Omaha? Omaha is
500,000.
Yeah, it's about 500,000. So then what is Long Island? I'm wondering out of curiosity just to see if we compare the two.
Got you.
It's 7.5 million. So yeah.
So I mean, but you're right. But I agree, because just like with the regular flu, you're more likely going to catch because there's more people in a confined space. So I get it. So
I think it's also that people here all work in the city. So I grew up in Manhasset, New York. And I believe Manhasset, and there might be a town in New Jersey too, had like the most deaths from 9/11, more so than the city, because we live here and then we commute to the city. This is a place where people live, they raise their families. They don't want to be in that hectic city life 24/7. This is where things are quiet. As you can hear, you don't hear anything in the background here. I'm recording out of my house. A lot of those Wall Street people, they live in New Jersey suburbs or Long Island. So, yeah, there's probably a lot of people who got this while working in the city. Then they come home and it spreads. And I do think the lockout's important, though, because nothing stops me right now from driving to Omaha if I have something. And then next thing you know, 1 million people there have it. So it's
I do think, though, as well, just like a fire that burns itself out. For those of y'all that have kids, I said this on the last show, when your kid is sick and you take them to the doctor and it's a virus, what does that doctor tell you? Every one of you out there that has kids knows what the doctor tells you. I can't do anything for it. You're just going to have to let it play itself out. This is an extreme case here, but again, the more you try to stop and contain and all this stuff, it's not going to work. And there comes a point where we're fine. What's going on now? I'm watching the statistics. You're seeing things start to level out as they should, as I think any person with some common sense would have expected them to do. I do think the recommending people to have normal freaking hygiene again, which was important, which a lot of people were missing, is extremely important. I do believe, I don't like the what is this, social distancing. That's just common courtesy distance. It's not social distancing. That's just common courtesy. Don't walk up right up on somebody when you're talking to them. That's just standard.
Well, I'm noticing, I will say maybe it's a little different there. I'm noticing if I'm in line somewhere now, like I went to go get a salad before, people are standing about like 6 to 10 feet away from each other. And I get it. I get why.
Brother, you got to. I dare you to sneeze once in line. Come on, I dare you.
You know what's crazy?
You don't have the
I was
balls.
at the post office yesterday, and I actually did. And I noticed like the guys looking at me. Yeah, it was probably an allergy sneeze or something. Yeah, people look like they're ready to stab you.
We're going to get, and this is the time where this is allergy season. It's springtime, man. So that's going to happen more and more. But what I'm getting at is that you still use common sense, but I do agree that, sometimes the weight and the vaccinations and the protectiveness can outweigh the actual actual flu, actual coronavirus, the actual virus that's going on now, and it can be detrimental, especially over time. What I'd like to see back at remind me in December when all this is finally coming, and I do think it's probably going to be then when everybody's heads start to clear, whether it gets rid of itself in the fall. I don't think the media is going to let it go until December if we get it done. I think you still got a 4-month period that they're going to ride this out and make more money off their ads. But what I want to talk about in December is if this continues on, I'd like to see what the suicide rate is after, because I a lot of this, and even as a veteran myself, when we start seeing the government take control, it does. Even myself, I know there's a lot of guys out there feeling the same way. It causes stress levels to go up because of what we've seen where governments have had control. And I said this on Pat's show. I don't want to have to pick up my rifle again, ever. I don't. I'm one of those guys that doesn't want to have to do it. I don't have to do it, especially in my own country. But when you hear and you see governments taking control, mandatory lockdowns, the governor of California, idiot, saying, oh, I can implement martial law. Brother, I don't think politicians have any idea what stress levels that puts guys like myself. Our stress levels go up, just top notch, because shit. Are you kidding me? All right. Well, if I have to fight for this, I will, but I don't want to. I want to be home with my family now. This is why I don't go overseas anymore. This is why I'm home, but I will. And that's where Glenn Beck, all right, I dare you, man. I will pick up a rifle and fight, because I don't want my kids to have to grow up in that. And I will. I've done it before. I'll do it again, but I don't want to have to.
Sure.
And I guarantee you there's veterans the same as me out there going, that son of a bitch. No, we don't want this. Just let's get this done. If we have to let it play out, then we let it play out. If we're waiting on a vaccine that's going to be another year, then no, we don't need it. And I do honestly believe too, brother, you can disagree with me or not, but I do honestly believe if the stock market crashes, you're going to see a lot of those people that lost a ton of money. Yeah, you will see it.
Yeah.
I want to see the
numbers. Why would I disagree with that? I mean, you hear about people jumping from skyscrapers in Vegas and Atlantic City, which is essentially the same thing. You know, when people gamble money that they can't afford, of course you're going to see that, man. There's a lot of people who have, they put all their eggs in one basket in terms of one stock, or no, of course you're going to see that. That's why it's an interesting thing, because it's like the division between, as you're saying, people getting out there, enjoying nature, enjoying what this life is really all about and what God created. I mean, God didn't create the stock market. He created, the trails that we walk on and all the great nature stuff that we see. When I was in like Sedona, Arizona, but man creates all this artificial stuff. So the other yin or yang to that yin, I don't know which to say, is that people are going to be extremely depressed because this is their family's livelihood, and if people have no means to buy food, no means to support their family, you are going to see rioting. It's inevitable.
And that's where you got to wait. What does it outweigh? If this is a flu and it is playing itself out like it will. Granted, I do believe, we're probably saving more lives now because of what we're doing with I hate to call it quarantine. I think it's just using common sense with our health practices, and people are becoming more aware and more respectful of distances of people, of their neighbors. But if you play this out and it keeps going, brother, that's going to be just as bad, if not worse, than if we didn't have the quarantine. And that can even be that your riots, brother. God dang, can you imagine? And that's why
Trump tweeted something out about exactly what you're saying, actually.
No, okay. Well, hey, great minds think. Should I say that, or is that not? That's not a great mindset. I don't.
I'm going to find the actual tweet, but I'm sure you'll be in agreement with it.
There's got to be a line where you're saying, okay, and that's where you, as a leader, if I was president, I'd be at the CDC, the doctors, get this shit figured out, get it now. This is your 9/11, get this done. You have this timeline, and if you don't make it by this timeline, guess what? We're gonna go find somebody. Just like you do, like when we have to hit an objective, you got to hit it at this time. If you don't make it, I'm gonna find somebody that does. And you've got to be like that. I really feel you've got to be you've got to. This is where as a leader you do
All
have
right.
to step up, and you have to tell your people.
I found the tweet, and
Oh,
I think you'll be in agreement with it.
It's a tweet.
So Trump,
Oh, shit.
yeah, Trump tweeted out on the 22nd. He said, "We cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself. At the end of the 15-day period, we will make a decision as to which way we want to go."
And for those of y'all listen to me on this, I don't always agree with Trump. I don't. I think he could have stopped a lot of this TP hysteria at the beginning, and I think there could have been more positive statements. But damn, yeah, from what I'm saying, and if I'm interpreting what he's saying correctly, because it's a tweet and it's so few characters, I do feel the same way. There's got to be a point where you're just, hey, we got to get this thing figured out. If there's not a vaccination, let's start moving forward, because you're going to see health problems and you're going to see deaths going the other direction.
Well, as I said earlier on the podcast, we have an Israeli drug company ready to give us 6 million units of chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine, whichever it is. It's on our FDA to just approve this stuff now. Just approve it. Man. We have the drug then, and it will make, I would think, a world of difference based on what I'm reading.
I'll have to read it, but if it's like we talked about the malaria pill, because I heard about that, which is essentially the same thing, just a little bit better, because we're in the 2020 and not the 1970s. But I agree, dude. If it's ready, FDA, politicians, stop being politicians and be leaders and get this thing out there and start getting it tested on people that are essentially very, very sick. But I'm completely agreeing with you too. If you're not, and if you read the stats, 90% of these cases in the world are mild. I think it was 96 today. 4% were severe. This is the world, guys.
Exactly.
90%. That 4%. That's who you give it to. Let's see. And I'm sure, be responsible. If you're that 4%, I do believe you probably should get consent if you can get consent from them or the family, because we're not guinea pigs. I don't believe in that either. But the 96% that's mild to and it's like moderate to I don't think you give it to them, and you just let it roll through, and they'll get rid of it. And that's, if you guys haven't read the stats and you're watching the news. That's correct. What a number I said on the stats. 96% of the people that have this virus are in the mild. Is it just mild, brother? I don't think it's even moderate. I think it says mild. It doesn't say mild to moderate. It just says mild.
It sounds about right. And to be honest, so that doesn't go against anything we've been saying in the weeks past, including myself. Which is still a cause of concern. Because usually the average flu, as we know, it's like 0.2% is lethal. So it's a lot higher,
It's hard, but relatively speaking, again, you can jump off the bridge if you want to, but it's 96, and then 4% is under the severe category. And if then go down and break the ages down, and you'll see dang near I think it's 90%, because there's a percentage there too. 90% are in that 70 and above category, and then 10% or 15, or it's broken down. So for those of you who don't trust my numbers, I can't even tell Ian's age, so you know better than that. Go look for yourself.
Yeah, but worldometers.info. That's the one we were talking about.
Look at it. Yeah, look at it. You'll see that the majority, if dang near all of them, are in that either 60 years old and above. And I'm not saying I want, because my parents are 60 years old, guys, but it puts things in perspective. And what it will do to me, and I think anybody else there, it stops the panic buying that's going on out there right now too, and essentially stops the panic in itself. Toilet paper, I still don't, help me out, Ian. I still don't understand the toilet paper thing. Why did people start buying up toilet paper? I still don't know why. I think
it's just because it's an essential item. I know there's other ways to do that, but it's funny. My toilet paper, but they didn't do it because of this. They've just always been that way. Every time I go to the house, they're stocked up on everything. Like they're not preppers, but they live like preppers.
No, and that's what I wanted. I'm glad you reminded. I wanted to get out before we got off the call. Guys, all right. I saw how everybody was hoarding toilet paper when I got home because we were short. Now we almost ran out again, but I found some. I got connections at Target here because I go to the Target. I got the inside scoop. No, I just got there in the morning when they had some. But guys, okay, all right. I'm just most of the elderly out there they don't hoard, they don't prep, but they buy stuff like that. And you'll see even my grandma, they had toilet paper and stuff. Well, now they have these hours for the elderly and you're supposed to, so they could get in there and get toilet paper and get stuff they needed because all the youngsters were buying everything out. Well, I show up in the morning and it's at a local Hy-Vee. Well, guess who's hoarding all the damn toilet paper? And I guarantee you they have it in their basement stored up. It's the elderly. I'm like, oh my God, people, we're supposed to be helping each other out, not one group having advantage of the other because now you have special shopping hours. To be honest with you, my personal views and watching other families, the people that really need it are the kids that have the families that have 5 or 6 kids and their kids are all teenagers. Because I guarantee you they're going through, I know my 15-year-old, they're going through toilet paper like it ain't nobody's business, man. So it's a funny story, but it's also a story like, hey, elderly too, please, I get it. This may be the only time you're going to get out for the week, but there are families that may not be in that high risk category that have 5 or 6 kids, even 4 children.
Sure.
They need that too. So you got to be respectful too, because they're getting in there and the shelves are gone. And now they've got kids, who knows how they're wiping their asses, and that's not good. That's not good either.
I agree, man. How's the food situation been there? Because I could tell you in New York, for the most part, everything is fine. I live right across the street from a grocery store. I've been getting fish, grilling it on. I have a grill outside. Been grilling fresh fish, fresh vegetables. I see a lot of like the frozen stuff is empty. But, it's a lot of junk food people probably shouldn't be eating anyway.
Yeah.
My friend George in Arizona, he showed me the shelves are bare there because they rely on California, it seems like, for everything. We haven't had that much of an issue. I mean, the complaints people have are really minor. People who just like to complain. I think there's plenty you can still get. Has it been like that for you?
It's been good. The milk, for some reason, 2 weeks ago when the toilet paper epidemic, and we're still having toilet paper shortages here, which is, I still find it. We don't hoard. We're good. But the milk, for some reason, but that came back online. I think people realized you really can't save milk and hoard it because it's going to expire within a week.
It's just habit. People have that milk, bread, and eggs thing.
There's some that. You go in and it's not barren. But what I laughed with my wife Tanya, because we're of course, for those that have listened to Tanya or have seen her on the Thadia post, that she's very, very, very good in shape. She's healthy. There's tons of fruits and vegetables. And I'm like, well, this is perfect. So I mean, we're good. No, food's good. You can still buy the shelf stable stuff like the macaroni and the SpaghettiOs and the soup. The milk's fine. We had a little bit of a shortage on milk and bread in the very beginning, but I think people are starting to figure this out. All right, we're good. There's not going to be a shortage of food, but I agree with you. I think it's a comfort thing. I think maybe it's a thing that's in our genes that we have. That's what makes us feel comfortable, is our clean butts, the ability to drink milk and eggs, because but food's good. I mean, there's shortage here and there on things, and I shouldn't say shortage, just the shelves are more picked through, because I do think people were hoarding. And then when the governor of California said the martial law thing, and then even when Trump said, now I'm a military commander, I think that's spun like, oh shit, here we go, martial law, government control. I think people went out and panic bought a little bit. But no, you can still go to the store and there's still food. And that's what I wanted to say to people out there that work at Walmart, at Target, at the grocery stores. Guys, you have no idea how much you guys are holding this country together. I mean, really do. I've seen people throw, because my local Target in North Omaha, they're fantastic. And I don't care if you like Target or not. I'm not saying the Target corporate. I'm saying the people working in Target, especially my one here on 72nd. I've seen people throw disposable wipes at them because they couldn't get toilet paper. They have handled everything beautifully. They have been really first responders on the front line, and they have kept, by keeping shelves stocked, by working extra hours, by making sure that there is food out. They have kept people from completely losing their minds. And I told Michaela, she's one of the managers down in the morning, and Kay's another manager down there. I said, guys, I don't think you realize how much you guys have kept sanity in this country by just showing up to work and taking the shit sandwich from people that are completely losing their minds because they can't buy Purell. You have no idea how much you've kept the community together. So I wanted to put that out because you don't think that a Target worker saving country, Walmart saving, no, they have. The grocery workers, just by having food on the shelves. Imagine if we would have the shortage of food along like we did with toilet paper, how many riots we would have had, dude. So all you guys out there, you don't get enough respect. You won't get enough respect by people out there because people think it's a menial job. I don't. I see that. And by you guys out there busting your ass, and they're not taking any days off, them out there making sure those stores are stocked, they have kept this country's sanity afloat. I honestly believe that, along with the healthcare workers. But I'm not going to short them, but I do want to. The healthcare workers are going to get kudos. They're going to get kudos regardless, especially from the politicians. These guys are not going to get kudos from the politicians. And I don't think they look for it, but they're getting it from me because I watch from the outside, walk around Target, and I watch how they handle people. And I am just in admiration that they're doing it on minimum wage too. They have no idea how they've held this country together. And so kudos to all you guys out there working in the grocery industry, at the Targets, at the Walmarts out there. Unbelievable job. I'm so proud of you guys. And really, pat yourself on the back when all this ends. You guys deserve medals. Believe me, you do.
I completely agree, man. You know what? That might be a good place to end this show because I think that's a positive note. Unless you have anything more that you want to get into, I think you and I could just talk and it goes somewhere. So
no, bro, I would love to see you post some of them pictures of that trail. If you do have to take your phone one day on the Battleline Podcast on the page so people can. I am going to do a book one day of all the places I've ran at. People need to see how awesome, how spiritual running and being outside can be, and I think people would get a kick out of that because I love what you're talking about. We don't have a good one here in Omaha. Where my sister lives in Denver, there's a good one. I love those things because they're so fun. And when it's a blue sky out, you can kind of lay and take an extra break on that sit up board and just look at the blue sky and the clouds going by before you have to get up and go run to the next.
I like even more actually. It's not really a trail, but it's a little bit of a trail. So I've said it before on the show. I live in Port Washington. There's a great dock by us, so I run to the dock.
Man.
And
Beautiful.
Then past the dock, and over there, you could actually go down this really short trail, and you were right on the sand.
Wow.
And you're on the sand, watching the water, watching the clouds. The one thing that's different for me, and that's an adjustment, as strange as it sounds, is I'm right near LaGuardia Airport. JFK is not too far, so I'm used to seeing all of these planes fly by. Every minute or so, you see another plane go by, and it's kind of cool to see. And it reminds me what a great country we live in and kind of makes me contemplate where these people are going and, just what they're up to. It's just stuff that I end up thinking about. And I could even, as silly as it is, I even remember being like a little kid watching the planes in the sky with friends, thinking something might be a UFO, just like the imagination of kids. And it's a weird adjustment only seeing a plane go by for me every 5 minutes or so. I'm not used to that.
But that's something. That's what you just said. You think about it, and it brought back memories, and now you're thinking, well, that is weird. But now you're thinking of other memories. Your brain's going, which is where it needs to be. Your brain's firing, and you're having thoughts, and you're having memories, and maybe even manifest into dreams later, where we haven't done that so much because our lives are too damn busy.
So you could see. I have my Skype camera on. You could see where I am. So I have like that mat over here. And then over here, you could see, I know the audience can't see this, but I have the window over here. And I will sometimes at night after a workout or whatever, especially if it's too cold to go outside, I'll lie on that mat, I'll look at the sky, and I'll just look at the planes passing by. And it'll make me think of, where do I want to travel to next when I get a chance. And it's actually like a very, same thing you're saying, very meditative state to be in. And it is as silly as it sounds. It's a strange adjustment to me because I think travel is such an intricate part of people's lives here, especially for you. You're a guy who's on a plane far more than I am, and it's probably I know you're enjoying the adjustment of being with your family, but it's probably strange that for this month and next month you're not going to be getting on a plane to anywhere.
and maybe for the year, but I've come to terms with that, and I'm okay with that. It wasn't a weird adjustment, but I'm used to adjusting quickly. When I used to come from deployments, I have to adjust quick, because if I didn't, then it was not a lot of time that I could enjoy the family at home because my brain wasn't home. So, but I would say last week was when, okay, I'm good. I'm happy to be home. Not worried about money. I'm not worried about what's going on. And it's nice to not be at the airport, because you're right. I was expecting to have my bags packed and head back to the airport to go catch a flight. And I woke up. I slept till 10:30. I'm like, holy shit! I don't have to go back to the airport.
Cool.
This is awesome. I put my running shoes on and I went and ran. So yeah, up until last week, it was a little bit of an adjustment, but I've adjusted. I'm fully adjusted, and I'm just happy to be at home.
And they're not sponsoring the show, so this is just a genuine thing that I'm saying here. When you take Ned, you can sometimes get that really good deep sleep.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do with Ned. I actually, when I was having the problems adjusting at home, I told you I used to take it in the morning. I actually started and switched it and took it at night, and that's when the adjustment, and whether it was coincidence or not, I'll just tell you that's when, like, hey, I'm good. And that's when I slept till 10:30 too.
Yeah, I think you're getting that really deep sleep. Are you remembering dreams? Because I notice I'll remember dreams more.
Yeah, I used to not remember any dreams, and now I remember them good. And so, I actually, and I have dreams of me protecting my family, which you're like, that's not a good. Well, I do, and then I also have just normal dreams like everybody else is like, and I remember them. I'm not going to tell you all of them, guys, because
these are sexual. Yeah, these are too wild for the podcast.
As far as you know, they are. As far as you know, but nah, bro, it has helped me, and it has helped. I can tell it's helped me just remain I'm a happier person as it is regardless, but it has helped me I can control my temper, and I didn't have a really bad temper anyway, but I can control it to where it really, I don't know what it is. It's hard to pinpoint. All I can say is that I just I'm just nicer. I'm a nicer, more relaxed guy. And it's made my life better. Yeah, and you're right. They're not sponsoring the show regardless. I don't care.
Yeah, no, we're just and you guys don't know this. There are times that I call Chris, and Chris will go on about Ned for me for like 20 minutes, and we're not doing a read. It's just me and him. And so, like, we really do believe in all the products we talk about. So I might as well transition here to something else we really believe in, which is Fort Scott Munitions. Fort Scott is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition that is designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in every state, even if California doesn't want you to be able to buy it. I don't know if that is changing currently. It could be, for all I know, the way California is doing.
Lord, who knows? I don't even want to get into that. We'll go down another rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Save that.
New York, as far as I know, I can still buy ammo. I got not in this room, but I got my stuff. So, as well as directly online through FortScottMunitions.com. Use the exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the Battleline Podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline Podcast. Dude, I love doing these shows where it's just you and I. And you know what? The last one we did great. And I'll be honest, part of it is you have to have a clickbaity title, because the title of the last one with us was I'm looking at it right now, Navy SEAL war crimes and much more. And I knew people were going to click on Navy SEAL war crimes. It was one of our most listened to episodes. Like, it did great. So I need to figure out, what do I title this? Is it going to be we're all going to die of coronavirus?
We're all going to We're all going to die of the new strain of coronavirus, the Michelob Hoba virus. There you go. It says it. I think the hashtag Michelob Hoba or the Hibbity Bibbity virus, one of the two. The new something like that, and drink all the drink. No, I'm not going to say that because somebody will. No.
The fish tank cleaner.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Yes,
no, but
someone really will, and I learned it on Battleline Podcast.
Don, you know somebody will. You'll think of something. You're clever. I still think the Michelob Hoba virus. That's just me.
I think it's funny, man. Yeah, for sure. And you got to make some humor out of this whole thing because it is a crazy situation we're all in. If we're gonna mention, just ways to get through it, which I think we did on this show, just in general. Have some things that you want to set out to get done every day. I've told people before when they're unemployed, for example, you just got to treat it like you're still at a job and have a, kind of a schedule of I got to get this done today and this done. And I noticed I'm getting a lot of stuff done. I'm actually having more time to do things I enjoy because I hadn't cleaned this apartment in God knows how long and done a really deep clean. So I did that and, filled air and tires of my bike that I haven't used in forever. And just stuff like that. So it gives me time to enjoy a little bit more. And whether it's going running and all that stuff, just don't. I agree with Chris fully. Don't sit on the couch all day and watch the news. It's going to make you go mad.
Yeah, you just get out and do something, and then maybe at night, find a good movie to watch at night. Or just some show, or turn on American Pickers is always a good stable. You can never go wrong if you turn on the History Channel and you have American Pickers. And if you're a ghost guy, you like crazy ghost adventures and Paranormal Caught on Camera actually is a pretty cool show, even though it is. If you like the horror stuff, that's actually turn that on. I think you'll get hooked on the episodes. You'll probably binge watch all the episodes. But me, brother. Yeah, I'm going downstairs. I'm gonna go eat some dinner. I can smell the dinner coming, and then I'm gonna go back down to my gym and work out a little bit more, and maybe have a Michelob Hoba. I don't know. I got one in the refrigerator.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna. So I finished that Love Is Blind show, and I saw that Ryan Weaver was posting about this show that everyone is talking about. There's this show now. There's another show on Netflix called Tiger King about this guy. I don't even know. I think he's like breeding tigers or something. Everybody is talking about it. It's apparently a really out there show. I don't know enough, so I could be way off, but I saw like Ryan Weaver is watching it. I have friends watching it. Just shows people are binge watching on Netflix, and I usually am someone who's like, I have no time for this. I have all the time to do that now. So maybe when I get off with you, I'll end up watching Wildcats, and I'll let you know how it is.
Tell me how it is. I always watch movies. I'm a movie holic. I have every movie channel, plus Vudu, plus Disney plus Netflix. I mean, I am a crazy movie guy, so I watch all movies out there. So I'll find something. Because that's why I said this is kind of. This is normal for me. It's honestly it's better because I know I don't have to worry about I have to leave next week for anywhere. That's awesome. It's not on my mind. Like, God, I got to leave home again. I don't want to go. This has been fantastic for me, and it's going to continue to be. And let's keep getting this pumped up. We do this a couple times a week, and then I don't have to leave at all. Fuck.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, for this month, I think we're keeping it like this, but I'm all for it. We'll figure things out. Hopefully the quality of this is decent, guys. Chris and I did a test. I'm always skeptical of like recording from my own home. So hopefully this all recorded okay. Hopefully by the time I hit stop recording on this and I listen back, it's all fine. Because if this thing didn't record, I'm gonna shoot somebody.
Oh, but yeah. Well, call me back. Call me back if it did. Call me back.
I think we'll be fine. I'm gonna hit stop recording now, and I'll wrap up with the audience just saying, man, hope you guys enjoy your week to the best of your ability with all this and push through.
Yeah, definitely, bro. And you guys out there, God bless you. And again, all you grocery workers and all you guys at Target, Walmart, and all the mom and pop shops out there, I'm being honest, you guys are really holding everything together. You may not see it, but you are keeping this country sane. Kudos to you. And in fact, I'm going to go eat some of the food I bought at Target today. I'm going to go downstairs and do that right now. So, yeah, man, I'll talk to you later, though, Ian. Everything's good to go. Never give it up.
That's all for this week's Battleline Podcast, but we'll be back on Monday with more American Straight Talk, so make sure you're subscribed. And keep up with the show 24/7 on Facebook and Instagram at Battleline Podcast. Also on Twitter at Battleline Pod. As always, never quit.